Zelos is a company that never ceases to amaze me. Not only because their watches are really well spec'd, because they've sent out this 38mm field watch and they've stepped up their quality again. And I really struggle to understand how other micro brands can compete when a company like Zelos can produce watches like this. I'm meant to try to find faults in a watch like this. And it makes my job really hard because now these watches come with a leather travel watch roll. That's impressive. There's no use in having a watch box sitting at home, because when you're traveling and you need to take 2-3 watches with you, that's ideal. But move away from that, the watch in question here is the Zelos 38mm Aurora. And apart from the quality of that hardened titanium case and bracelet, that on-the-fly adjustment is phenomenal. That is really nice. And if that's not enough, the real hero of this watch for me is that dial. The detail, the texture, the colour of that purple with the fume. And for a field watch, it's having a little bit of fun. Now I did say that the watch is fully spec'd out, and looking at the dimensions of the watch, first and foremost it's extremely wearable. With a 38mm case diameter with a lug-to-lug of 45.9, the footprint on the wrist is fantastic. The crown is a 6.8mm signed screw-down crown. The watch offers 200 meters of water resistance, and the total weight on this supplied bracelet sized to my 18cm wrist is exactly 123 grams. And for a 38mm field watch on the wrist, as you can see the overhead, this is sitting lovely. You've got a 45.9 lug to lug. That case height comes in at 11.8, and that has been superb. You've got a fantastic bracelet. The articulation on this, that clasp, like I said, it's exactly why people gravitate to brands like this. Looking at that case and titanium bracelet, it's grade 2 titanium with a 1200 HV hardness coating. And the way that bracelet functions, as you can see, it steps straight down. Beautiful. The articulation's perfect. So really well made. You've got screw pins, a milled swivel, a fantastic clasp with an on-the-fly adjustment. And this is a very nice practical clasp. Not only does it look good, everything is neat, tucked away and machined beautifully. A simple push, you can slide it left and right to any size you want, and it locks in. And whilst we're on the back of the watch, you can see it's a nice solid case back, beautiful embossing. Behind that case back, we've got the Miyota 9039 automatic movement, and this particular watch also comes with an anti-magnetic Faraday cage. On the time graph, the watch has been running superb, very healthy. Like I said at the beginning, I'm actually struggling to find faults in a watch like this, technical faults. I'm going to share about 3 or 4 things I'd like changed, but they're personal things. But as far as a watch that's extremely practical, extremely comfortable, very versatile, and very strong, they've absolutely nailed it. Now I did say that the hero of this watch is that dial. And looking closely at that dial, you can see that it's got applied markers at 3, 6, 9 and 12. The rest of the markers, as you can see, they're in a sandwich dial configuration. And that's pretty cool. Further out from that dial, you've got a step down chapter ring, and again, that is lume filled. And the lume on this watch is predominantly Superluminova C3 on all the markers as well as that handset, whereas the step down minute track features BGW9. And looking at the lume, beautifully applied, very easy to read. The first thing that does fade is that step down minute track, and then after a while, the sandwich section of this dial starts to fall away. Now the lume's not going to be dive watch territory, and to be honest, I'm not expecting that. But for a field watch, it's actually doing quite well. Now before I get onto the gripes, I'll quickly show you guys that watch roll. It can cater for 3 watches, something more practical than just a watch box that you can actually take with you when traveling. And I wish more manufacturers thought this way. I'd gladly trade my Omega or Tudor watch boxes for a nice leather travel watch roll from those brands. Now moving on to the gripes of the watch. If I had to really find faults, what can I say bad about this watch? What are the gripes? And gotta be honest guys, there's not too much to complain about here. In fact, very high praise for Zelos. If I had to nitpick, I'd probably say this dial would have really benefited from an applied logo and potentially slightly less fume, so that we can see that beautiful texture in that purple, because I think the color and the vibrancy really knocks this thing out of the park. But then again, it is a tool watch, it is a field watch, putting an applied logo, neither here nor there. Secondly, if I look at the profile of the case, the vertical brushing, it could have been finished slightly nicer, but then again, it is a hardened titanium grade 2 case. For a field watch, for something that's going to be banged around, again, I'm just pulling at strings. And probably the last gripe of these watches, and I've always said it with Zelos, the fact that there's only 200 units each. These things sell out straight away, and a lot of people miss out. So if you want to grab one of these, best of luck, that's all I can say, and that's a shame. Because the watch quality, the specifications, the comfort on the wrist has been super easy all week. Also with that beautiful pattern on that dial, and the fact that you got a slightly thin handset, the legibility might suffer a little bit on this watch, especially if you're indoors. Outdoors, the fact that the handset is highly polished and very reflective, I've not had an issue, but just mentioning it in the gripes. I was also going to include that clasp in my gripes, saying that it is potentially slightly thick, however, it balances out the watch head beautifully. So you got a little bit of weight on the bottom, a little bit on the top, it's spot on. So as far as a finalised package goes, with that leather travel watch roll included, top mark Zelos, well done. I think up and coming micro brands really hate it when companies like Zelos are able to produce a really well spec'd out watch like this. And I've got to be honest, I think for what you're getting, it's an absolute steal. A bargain in fact, in today's watch world. I'll leave all the links in the description. Hopefully anyone that's keen out there to get one can actually get one, because like I said, as soon as the sale goes on, as soon as these things go live, they're pretty much gone within minutes. Thanks again for watching. Leave me your thoughts about this watch or this brand. Let me know what you think. I've had nothing but good quality watches come from Zelos, and this one here has not only met those expectations, but also exceeded them in a few areas. Thanks for watching.